people, non-FBAs, making videos talking about how FBA is divisive and FBA is COINTELPRO. Now that's the thing that they're saying now, that FBA is COINTELPRO, and the FBA quote unquote movement is COINTELPRO, and all of this, all of that, right? Okay. We're gonna have a conversation about this. Okay, she's not here, so what's going on? We're gonna have a conversation real quick about this situation. Now, there are some people who are young, maybe don't know, and there are some people who know full well what they're doing is absolutely wrong and disingenuous. All right? Let me say this for the people who might not know that what you're seeing is propaganda. FBA, Foundational Black Americans, right, is a lineage of people. It's a lineage of people. These are the people who are descendant from U.S. chattel slavery. That's it. We are the people who are descended from U.S. chattel slavery. Foundational Black Americans. That's an ethnic group. It's a newer name for the ethnic group. The name that was formerly used was African American. And when we said African American, everybody knew we were talking about an ethnic group. But now we're not saying African American. We're saying something that's more specific, okay, that describes us better. That's it. You have many, 3 million, I believe, Foundational Black Americans, 43 plus million, something like that, Foundational Black Americans. Cool, right? You have us, different religious beliefs, different political beliefs, some young, some old, all over the place. Just like when you refer to African American, you refer to African American as a ethnic group. I don't know what I was about to say. A diverse ethnic group, okay, of many different people, of many different walks of life, of many different beliefs and behaviors. Is everybody great? No, nobody is saying everybody is great. You know what I'm saying? We're just talking about our ethnic group. Now, the problem is that you have had people who literally have an axe to grind with our ethnicity. That's the thing. You have people who have an axe to grind with our ethnicity. So what they're doing is they're trying to frame FBA as a group, so that way they can attack the ethnicity under the guise of attacking a group. That's why. Because the same things that they were saying about the quote unquote group is the same things that they say about our ethnicity. All right. And it's our responsibility to defend our ethnicity. It's our responsibility to protect and preserve the glory of our ethnicity. Okay. And to protect our group of people for not just ourselves, but for the descendants going down the line. That's our responsibility, to talk about our history accurately, to not let people come in and take stolen glory and take stolen valor and all of this. That's what we're doing. But what we're seeing is a lot of people say things like, this is divisive and this is a hate group, which is causing fighting going on. All right. Let me say this. Okay. There's a boycott coming up. It is coming up. Okay. And you guys are really enforcing it of Africans. And some people are saying, well, you guys are African. So why are you guys fighting Africans? You guys don't want to acknowledge Africans, all of that stuff. Well, okay. Listen. Even if we go by every single black person who's in America today, every single foundational black American who's in America today came from the slave ship, right? Let's say they came from the slave ship. If y'all don't listen, y'all can leave. Y'all just want to troll. Y'all grown men. Y'all look very old and sad, trolling in the chat room. Okay? But listen to what I'm saying. You're not making me upset, all right? But if you say bad things, you will be black. That's just what it is, right? If every black person who was enslaved, that was like 500 years ago, came from Africa. We've been removed from the continent for centuries and centuries and centuries. Okay? It's nothing wrong with claiming history that happened centuries and centuries and centuries ago. But the thing is that when you say you guys should say African American, you should acknowledge your African roots and African history and all of that. That's very disingenuous because that argument doesn't get told to the Caribbean, who also, according to the same history, who also was shipped from Africa to the Caribbean. They were taken from Africa and brought to the Caribbean, but they are not told that they need to disregard their history of the nation they live in. They are not told that. They are told that they have nothing, they can embrace their culture and history. When they say they're Jamaican, when they say they're Haitian, when they say they're Trinidadian, when they say they're all of these things, they are told that and nobody says anything. They are told they have their own unique, distinct culture that is separate from Africa. That's what they're told. Okay. They don't have to say they're African Jamaican, African Haitian, African Trinidadian, African nothing. They don't have to say that. But only in America is it a thing that we can't acknowledge our culture here without also giving the credit to the continent of Africa. Even though, according to history, according to the slave trade, right, they were actually shipped to the Caribbean around the same time we were. They've left Africa and been separated from Africa. We've been separated from Africa for the same amount of time. Yet we can't claim America, even though we built America. So that's where the disrespect is coming in. Because America is flawed in several ways, several ways. I can't even list them all. But America is framed in such a bad way. Our culture is framed in such a bad way. And we got to fix that. We have to fix that. We did build America. My people built America. Okay? My ancestors built America. That is the truth. My ancestors built America. And with all of America's flaws, they should be proud of that. And we, as their descendants, should be proud of the nation that they built. Because guess what? There's not a single country that doesn't have many flaws. There's not a single country that is flawless. Not one in the world. All right? Nor has there ever been. There's not a single country. And yet everybody, every native of that country gets to wear their ethnicity and pride, gets to have pride in their lineage, in their nation, except us. We can't have pride in the history of our lineage. And it bothers a lot of people. So we're clearing this stuff up for the people who might be young in their early 20s, late teens, and who might be newer to the conversation. But a lot of you all are fully aware of what we're talking about. And a lot of you all deal with ethnic, and I've said this before, and I'll say this again, you all deal with ethnic insecurity. And you're very insecure of foundation Black Americans. Fleeing, and I got to be mean now, because I was polite and, diplomatic a couple seconds ago. Fleeing can cause a people to have an insecurity and an identity crisis. Which is why, truth be told, which is why you all, and I'm talking to the tether class, which is why you all feel like there's this ongoing rivalry that doesn't necessarily need to exist. But you all are feeling that way. You all want to get a job and then feel like you can wag your finger at somebody else and brag about us. You, the tethers, compare their success to us. Okay? Because they have some goal to one up us. That's their thing. Because of some insecurity that they have. And what they do is project their insecurity. Say, we don't have no culture. We don't know where we're from. We don't know all of these things. That's what they say. And they're projecting because deep down, they're very insecure. They can't really speak on their lineage with pride because they left. And it causes a lot of insecurity. It does. It causes a tremendous amount of insecurity, which they need help from. Okay? It's not our responsibility or our fault for you all fleeing and then having to deal with your own tribal issues that you brought over here, nor your insecurity. It's not. It's not our responsibility. And the fact that what we're doing is safeguarding the lineage is causing you all to crash out. And that's your problem. And now your problem is becoming my problem. So we're going to get things started because I'm starting off a little later than I originally planned. So not going to be too much long today. All right. But BX, can you set the room? There's people already coming up.
Sure. So when you come in the room and you come on the panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. When you are directed to speak, please lead with your race, ethnic group, and if you're over 18. Pronouns and exact age is not needed. Please mute, John. Um, so when I say race and ethnic group, I mean like this. So for me, my race is black, my ethnic group is African American / Black American, and I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. I'm very proud to say that I am verified, means I'm reparations ready. Um, and so what that exactly means for everybody else who identifies as FBA or could be of, could identify as such, but don't, means that our ancestors were here during 1863 and 1865 and found on the 1870 census in the United States of America. If your ancestors do not fit that criteria, then you are not a Black American / African American, nor should you be identifying as a foundational Black American. You are your country of origin. So if your parents come from Jamaica, then you are Jamaican American and like Haitian American, Nigerian American, Trinidadian American, so on and so forth. If you are bi-ethnic, meaning you have one parent that's foundational and one that's like Caribbean or even continental African or even Latino, you can tell us that you're bi-ethnic and we'll understand. Mexican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, those are not races. Those are ethnicities. And so if you present as white tea, you're white tea. We understand mestizo. So if you're mestizo, please say that. If you're Afro-Latino, please say that too. We get it. Everybody's voice is welcomed here, but we ask that you use TikTok-friendly language and you do not disparage our ancestors, right, or us, because we're having the discussion. So I'm going to try to remain on mute as everybody talk. Let's keep it one mic, but I will stop you for misinformation, and so will Afro-Lee, especially if you're doing too much by being disrespectful. Also, in the chat, please use TikTok-friendly language. Do not comment food emojis, and do not say I love the TikTok shop. Just continuously engage by tapping the screen, sharing the live, and see that heart up there by Afro Elite's name. Click that heart and complete the daily mission. It helps him in his rankings and also keeps him in the algorithm. And so the topic, this is part 3, y'all, and we really like this topic. There's a lot. Yesterday was pretty calm. So stop the anti-FBA propaganda. I think by this point in time, everybody knows who FBA is, right, Afro?
Yeah, they know.
So
They wouldn't
I'm
be here
starting
if
to
they didn't
believe
know.
right. I think that when they say
Hold on,
they
y'all
don't
gotta mute. Y'all
understand
gotta mute when you come
FBA,
up.
right? I'm gonna land right here. I'm starting to say when they say they don't understand who FBA is, they're just trying to center themselves or troll at this time.
Yeah,
So it's up to us if we decide to. But today we don't have to. Hi,
yeah.
Andre. Okay,
Now
absolutely.
the
I'm
thing
finished.
is that I do have a live stream later on today. I don't have all the time, so what we're gonna do is I'm letting people know this now. We're not. You gotta unmute. You gotta mute yourself. I'm letting people know this now. We're not going over the way we did the other day. Dude, if you unmute yourself one more time, I'm gonna remove you. Okay, that's too bad. Okay. See, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. Now, if you want to disagree, you can. If you want to disagree, but as far as people playing games and stuff like that, no. If you have something you want to say, don't wait in the chat room for a whole hour and then I say, okay, I'm wrapping up, and then you want to come up and say, please let me come up and say something. Come up and say something when you want to say something. Okay, that's what do that. Okay, because I'm not
Okay, because I'm
saying
not.
okay. You say you
Okay,
have
you say you have
microphone issues.
microphone issues.
What's your race and ethnicity, sir? Where you?
Is he
Is he
recording?
recording? No, I'm not recording. I'm just joining right now. I had a mic
Am I
issue.
on two phones? Because I hear an
Because I hear
echo.
an echo. Is it good right now?
I don't know. Okay, well I heard an
Speak, sir.
echo, so I don't know. Okay, so
I
where are your
heard it
people
too.
from? Where are your people from, sir?
So originally I'm from Central Africa, Cameroon, but right now I reside and work in the United States.
Okay, I used to work with somebody who was from Cameroon at UPS. Cool guy.
Thank
Cool
you,
guy. I
man.
used to
Thank
work
you.
with him. And he was first journal. Like he spoke French and everything like that. Like he was a direct descendant. Like he
Yeah,
grew up.
my French. I speak French too.
Yeah.
That's my first language. But in the United States, you gotta speak English because that's the way it goes.
Yeah. We don't speak French here. But what's on your mind? What's on your mind as far as the prompts?
No, the thing is, I didn't even know much about FBA until I started seeing much videos about it on TikTok. I just thought all FBAs are just black people in general. Until now, then I realized FBAs are different set of black people.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't know if it's just some people making things up, or they are actually like a real group and real set of people that are causing like the problem between like the Africans and the Africans Americans. Because for as far long as I've been in the United States, I don't have any problem with the Black Americans. Until now, I'm hearing about the FBA, and those people aren't good. I can't lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's just it. But FBA, I think if those people are true and they exist, we as Africans and you guys as Black Americans, we have to do everything in our power to get rid of those guys. Those people cause a lot of troubles, and if they keep on existing in the community that you guys live in and in the community that we, the Africans, live in, we're gonna have a lot of problems.
Okay. Yes. Let me address that real. Let me address that. The thing is that this is a problem. This is a problem, and many of us can actually speak to our personal experience with this. You know, many of us can. And this is not to say that all of our experiences with people who are African or Caribbean is bad. I don't think anybody's trying to make that argument. But what we're trying to say is that there are people who are very problematic. And those problematic people have been going on a damn spree for the longest time without being corrected, without being checked. And they have problematic behavior, in particular, when it comes to things such as reparations, you know.
Yeah.
So what happens is they'll get on a microphone or they'll go to a panel or they'll go to something and they'll say, you know what, I don't think we, and that's when they start cosplaying as us.
Yeah.
I don't think we deserve reparations. I was never a slave, and that's so bad about, and they'll say black, you know what I'm saying, given the
Uh-huh.
implication that they're FBA when they're not. So these are problematic behaviors, all right? You have them all up and through politics. You have them disrespecting our history here,
Yeah, the history.
and that doesn't get addressed. So that's what we're doing now, because the thing is that we're easy people to get along with, but the disrespect has to stop. Okay,
That's it.
we cannot pretend that it doesn't exist anymore. We can't pretend that this huge elephant in the room doesn't exist. We can't do that. Okay, as disrespectful to our ancestors to allow this problem to exist any longer than it has. So that's what we're doing here. We're stopping it. We're stopping it at its source.
Okay, now that we know they exist and they continue to disrespect you guys and causing problem for us Africans, now the main problem is what or how do we go about it? How do we stop them? Because it's a major issue.
Yeah, it is an issue. Well, what happens is that it kind of starts from home, because this is like okay, if you gotta mute yourself. It starts from there. What happens is that you all need to address the problematic people within your group. Okay, you guys got to address that, because every time we have an issue, you have problematic people from within the diaspora popping up, and they like to dogpile and attack. They got an axe to grind. They got some issue with us, and it goes unaddressed from the diaspora, okay? As far as the Myron Gaines, the Candace Owens, the Brian Donalds, recently the Kai Cenats, all of these people get unaddressed. Nobody says anything about them. And then when we say something about them, we get called divisive and xenophobic and all of that stuff. So it's because you all have allowed, and I'm not saying all of you all are tethers, because we don't believe that you all are. But the thing is that the tethers go unchecked. Okay, no regulation whatsoever. So that's what you all need to be having spaces about how to check people who are problematic in your community, who are problematic towards us in your community. And then 9 times out of 10, they live in America, benefiting off of sacrifices in America. So that's how we fix it. But we gotta move on to the next speaker.
I wanted to say, good evening, everyone, first off. I wanted to say that this is all starting from one simple braider, which was African on the women's behalf, that came out and said, y'all want to go to war with Africans? Then we'll go to war. Who's going to make a black woman look beautiful? Who's going to make the next project whore look beautiful for the projects if y'all don't got the Africans? I feel like to some degree, y'all come here, y'all benefit off of the sweat off of our backs, and then y'all say the most hurtful and negative things. Y'all not even welcoming 90% of the time. Y'all work in the, I've worked in the hospital. I've seen the worst of the worst in African people. And I'm not saying all, but what I've seen. Y'all can't come here and talk with a split tongue and say things like, you black people want to go to war. We never wanted to go to war with anybody. If you really look into history, black people are the most peaceful people. If you come to our cookout, we're going to make sure you eat. If you need a hug, we're going to hug you. If you need a place to sleep, we're going to house you. So I don't understand how we're always the butt of the joke at the end of it. Y'all discredit us. Y'all don't want us in your country, but we're welcoming you in our country. And we're taking money that we could have given to Miss Josephine to put in your pocket. Not only that, it's like the work and y'all got so used to being just given things by us being fooled by your 2 minute of kindness, but then we're sitting in your chair and y'all are talking about us in your language. Y'all are saying the most disrespectful thing. I have watched African braiders snatch these little girls' hair when their mothers leave out the salon, start cutting their braids off. I mean, the disrespect don't end. We'll welcome you guys in, and y'all will disrespect us constantly. And I just feel like at this moment, she has stricken a race war
Can I
against
Hold on,
Africans
no,
and
no, no,
blacks.
no. And we're gonna have to circle people out because we don't have forever. We don't have forever. So, when people are done speaking, to let other people come up. If we have a lot of other people want to come up, we're gonna have to circle people
Sure.
out. But I'm gonna let you land, sister. I'm gonna let you land.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we always want to welcome new people in because we're always willing to learn. I think the part that people forget about blacks are, and black women and black men, we are the most educated race in this on this earth. We have brought just about everyone to civilization, and we're always being put on the back burner. Learn to welcome us like we welcome you. We're facing the same discrimination, the same racism. So, it's like y'all want to be black when the heat is on y'all, but when the heat is off of you guys and y'all can rub shoulders with the colonials and the YTs, y'all don't remember us. But we always remember y'all. We watch Roots, whether it was the truth or not, and we felt. And that's why what y'all think is not welcoming, we're the most welcoming people. And I just want you to know that we love everybody.
Yes.
And everyone have a good evening.
Yes. Very true. Very
And
true. Hold on, no, hold on. Zizi is our co-host, the co-host of the For the Culture podcast. Okay, which is where this is going to be if you guys want to listen to the playback, just like you listen to the playbacks of all of our other TikToks, okay, is put on YouTube on For the Culture. Just go to For the Culture on YouTube. So I'm going to let her go if she has something she would like to add, and then we can go ahead.
Hey, peace, BX. How y'all doing?
We're good. We're good. How you doing?
I'm good.
I
Peace.
came into your live yesterday.
Oh,
I
I
came to
seen
your
you.
live yesterday. Okay,
See, I
cool.
gave you a little
I
shout out. That's
told
what
you
it
I
was.
was coming.
I know.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. The only reason I'm not on camera is because I'm at work. I don't want to. I got my work uniform on and shit. I don't want y'all, doxing myself.
Yeah,
Um,
Lord, please don't do that.
yeah, we don't need the
Please.
problems. But so yeah, actually, I can't even be up here for long. I got to get back to my table. But I do want to say I didn't know we was going 3 for 3. Damn, I wanted to get up on here for this one. That's egregious, but it's cool. I do want to say the FBA propaganda, anti-FBA propaganda, is very real. Unfortunately, we are seeing a prevalence on it. I talked about this yesterday on this app, specifically on TikTok. It's like the stomping grounds for anti-FBA propaganda. Unfortunately, but yeah, we have to continue to do these lives, continue to make content, continue to make sure our voices are heard, to make sure it's clear on why we're delineating, who is delineating, and being specific with our language, because there's too many people out here cosplaying as us, pretending to be us, tethering themselves to our community, and even trying to cosplay as us and actually and use that as validating why they have these anti-FBA talking
Mhm.
points. Even some of us, we got to work against some of us, because some of us, like the brother who came up yesterday, I think he said he was FBA, but he was married to an Ethiopian. And was up here saying all types of nonsense about FBA. So we got to be careful even
Uh-huh.
about those within our group. So yeah, it's very real though. It's unfortunate to see. It's also part of the game, but we here with it. We gonna combat it.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. Let me ask you, if you have enough time. You've seen a lot of people are making videos about Kai Sanat and his defense of that one guy, the streamer Xeon or Neon, something like
Neon.
that. Neon. See, I don't know him. You know, but yeah, the Breakfast Club did a thing, and they were checking him because he has a notorious anti-black history. Okay, and the Breakfast Club, kind of grilled him a little bit, not that much, but they grilled him a little bit about it. And then Kai Cenat came out and said the Breakfast Club did too much. Okay, in his defense, and see, this is the problematic things that we deal with because we don't, as far as foundational Black Americans, all I've seen is that the Breakfast Club was too easy. And now you
Yeah.
have Kai Cenat who cosplays as FBA, and he's running defense for people who are anti-black, and that's one of the things that we got to deal with as well too. That's another problem, which is why we got to call out and distinguish and delineate.
Absolutely. No, if people like him are definitely a big problem. And it's crazy because Kai has done a couple of problematic things, to say the least, that I already wasn't rocking with when it came to disrespecting our community, disrespecting our culture. Moreover, so now to see him be in defense of this non-black boy, that's going, young man, should I say, that's being held accountable, it's kind of telling. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little
Mhm.
telling. Like I'm trying not to go on him, but it's like I can't keep using youth as an excuse. You can't keep using ignorance as an excuse. You can't, because it's like certain things you can't excuse. Not only was he defending that boy, but he was also trying to say that the Aiden Ross's agent, who called him the N-word multiple times, was a good guy. Oh no, he's still a good guy. He just, I just can't. It's like, so at what point, what is your breaking point? What is the standard for a bad guy? What's the standard for anti-black racist? Because this is not making sense for you to be defending people who are clearly going against us and have alternative agendas. So yeah, it's very problematic. I ain't rocking with that. I think it kind of shows the level of anti-blackness that he has, and the fact that he's non-FBA but uses our culture so much and comes up off of it so much. Yeah, that's something to look out for sure.
Yeah,
Bro, tripping.
definitely, definitely. Do you want to add anything else, or do you have to go now?
I might be able to pop back in. It's kind of slow. That's why I ain't want to promise I can stay up here, and I got to get back to my table. I'm gonna cut my phone off in a second to go back to my table. But I only have one table right now, so I ain't really shit going on for real. So I might be able to step back in here.
Okay, cool, cool. That's great. That's great. All right.
Can I go?
So yeah, I definitely agree. Hold on, because we gotta keep the room flowing. We gotta keep the room flowing. But the thing is that when it comes to Kai, we've kind of been gracious. We've been more than gracious enough with Kai. Kai is not a baby. Kai is a legal adult.
Right.
What Kai is like? What 20, 21, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Kai is an adult now. He's a very young adult, but he is an adult. And there's been multiple problematic things that Kai has done.
Yeah.
All right. And the problem with that is he has a very large young audience. All right.
Yes,
That
he does.
follows him and watches what he does. So we can give some leeway and grace, but to an extent, as a young man, as an adult, you can't get too much leeway and grace, all right? Because that problematic behavior that we've seen from Kai early in his career, it's not changing. It's one thing after another thing after another thing after another thing. How many more passes are we going to give him? Honestly,
Exactly. And that's why I'm like, I want to give him some. I have given him a lot of grace, actually, even though I've definitely been. I didn't talk about him a couple times. I've given him grace, and also because he's still black. So I'd be like, no, he'd be putting off other. He does other things that I do like. Let me say that. But the fact that he does have such an influence on the youth, it's like it has to be clear on the things that he does wrong, and he has to be clear on what he's done wrong and being apologetic about that. Because if not, then he will influence other young people to go down the same path and have the same or have a similar status or standard as him when it comes to anti-black racism. And it should be a no nonsense. We should have a no nonsense toleration for it. Period. Whether they're young or old, or somewhere
yeah,
in between. So yeah, I'm not feeling that, man. We definitely got to hold that boy accountable. It's not a good look. And he getting dragged for it. There's a lot of FBAs that's dragging his ass,
yeah, he is
rightfully
rightfully
so.
so.
For real.
We both agree. Yeah, as he's supposed to. But let's continue. Go ahead. I just wanted her to, get that out because she might be gone for a little bit. Hopefully, she can still listen. But let's get to, I think, who was next. I think,
Is it me or somebody else?
yeah, you can go ahead.
Hi, how are you? Hope everyone's doing well on the panel. I'm
How are
black.
you?
I'm good, thank you. I hope everyone's doing fine. Excuse me. I'm Black American, both parents. My ethnicity is Gullah Geechee, and we definitely do have a culture. These people don't understand that we also can have ethnic groups because we have Creoles, we have Gullah Geechee, and the only thing is, like, with the disrespect, I notice and I'm so proud of Black Americans for responding with the same energy. We're addressing the disrespect. We're not just letting it fly. We're not kissing the ring because they're super African and all this other stuff. Because I feel like they can dish it, but for some reason they can't take it. They're confused when we respond and when we're just as nasty. My thing is, you can't say whatever out your mouth and then not want the consequences and want to dictate what we say back. Because my thing is, I'm proud of being a Black American, and I love how Beyonce is being patriotic, and she's also bringing awareness to that. I feel like, because we're shamed for wearing the American flag, we're shamed for saying that we're proud to be American. They like to come over here. They will come over here. They won't stay in their country, but they'll come over here and try to tell us to be ashamed of where we're from and how we don't have a culture. What is their culture? All I see is backwards practices, everything else. They don't think that we don't know they really don't think that we don't know what goes on in their country and how backwards and how the government is. And if we want to keep it a buck, self-hate started in Africa. They still sell other Africans. Colonization, all of that, it started with them. And they like to come over here and bring their tribalism with them. And I peeped game. I peeped the destiny swapping. I peeped the disrespect. And I started giving it right back to them. And they're confused and they shut up. Because they can't, and I'm not the quote unquote stereotype, because I grew up in a 2-parent home and we had money and stuff like that. So they don't disrespect me, I feel like, as much. I just hear them talking about other Black people and I still don't like it, even though I don't have, certain experiences or whatever. But I still don't like it because my thing is, outside of, I know Nigerians and different Africans personally that grew up in their households, and outside of them being doctors, or some of them they're scammers and all kind of stuff. A lot of their children go through a lot of abuse, a lot of a lot of that goes on in their household. And they like to have outwards appearance like we believe in family, we believe in this and that, when they're so dysfunctional. So don't let these people play in your face and lie to you and tell you that they're kings and queens in their country, and they won't even show you the village they come from. And that's all I have to say.
They'll brag about culture and all of that stuff, and then the thing is that they act like we don't know about problematic things that go on, and then when we address that, they say it's xenophobia. You know what I'm saying? They say we hate them or we're stereotyping them. No, I mean, let's be honest. We can't move or progress if we're not gonna call a spade a spade. All right, because they'll come over here. Listen to what I'm saying, y'all. We got hundreds of people in here. They'll come over here and they'll talk about, man, y'all got a lot of violence in Chicago. Y'all got a lot of crime in Chicago. Yeah, y'all don't get married. The other day, y'all don't get married like that. And y'all divorce race and this, and then the kids, y'all let the kids run amok and do it. They'll come over here and they'll start criticizing left and right every little thing, from the cities to the culture to the education. They'll get to criticize everything. And then when we say, okay, well, if we criticize them, we can also criticize you guys, then it becomes quote unquote xenophobic. So they're above criticism. So and we're just not going with that no more. We're not doing that no more.
Hey, you know what's crazy too? Because I still find myself defending these Negroes all the time. Well, not all the time, but a lot of the times when these white supremacists try to offend us as Black Americans, they'll try to group us in with Africans. They'll be like, "Go back home," or "Look what they're doing in Africa." Da, 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 da. And I still find myself still defending them just because, man, it's the Black in me. I just can't. I'm especially for a white person to come in and defend because they'll say something like I seen I was watching a clip of a documentary and it was doing like I forgot what it was called. I'm sure y'all know what it is in the comments, but these white people was there and they was throwing. I mean, like literally the festival got so bad that the porta parties had like overflowed and they was in there literally like rolling around in it and playing in the. It was disgusting. And so I'm in the comments like, yeah, that's about YT. That sound about YT. When I tell you it was so many anti-Black and moreover anti-African comments that I got, oh, well, look what they're doing in Africa. Well, they're playing and pooping in Africa. They got flies on their head and you need to look what they're doing. And so I was going back and forth with these white supremacists defending these Africans. And I'm like, whole time, y'all grouping me in with a group that I'm not even a part of. But it's just the Black in me that can't help but still defend these Negroes. But I don't see that same energy on the other side. It's
But
absolutely
the
a huge
Africans
separation
love those
between.
people, though.
Hold on, hold on.
What did he say? He said we're not those people.
No, he said the
Africans, they
Africans love
love
those
them.
people.
Oh yeah, they do. A lot of them do. It's unfortunate. It's colonized mindset. But I still can't. I can't let that type of stuff ride. I can't do it.
Yeah, and I agree. The thing is that because the ultimate goal is to fight YT supremacy. Okay, I'm saying one time. The ultimate goal is the fact that we are trying to dismantle global white supremacy. So we're not going to allow them to go around and just say whatever, even if we have an issue in the diaspora. And I'm gonna speak for myself. Even if I have an issue with the diaspora, I'm not gonna team up with no alt-right MAGA wearing Trump hat wearing person
Right.
from the damn Confederate with a Confederate flag and then talk about Africa. I'm
Exactly.
not sharing beers with that dude or whatever. I'm not doing that. Okay. I'm not losing the plot. I'm addressing this because y'all are problematic to the progression of the group. That's why I'm addressing you guys. It's not out of no hate or animosity. But if you guys are problematic to the progression of the group, you need to be checked. But I'm not gonna sit up there and team up with them against you guys. That's not gonna happen. And most of us just instinctively just don't do that. We just
Yeah.
instinctively know, like, okay, that's not what we're going with.
It don't even feel right. But I think, a part of that too is that a lot of these tethers will do that. And that's why I think they're kind of projecting that on us. That's why you got some people up here like, well, FBA and MAGA, and like they're trying to group us in with some of these other political groups, especially on the right, and trying to act like we're trying to align with these white people. And it's like, that's not the goal. That's the goal for y'all. That's why you think that's our goal, but that's not our goal. It's never has been.
Never has been. Yep, you're absolutely right. Let's get to the last star boy.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I wanted to say that, well, I hope everybody's having a good day. But first of all, FBA is not a hate group. To anyone that's confused, any Africans that are on here or any migrants that are confused as to what FBA is, it's not a hate group. FBA is actually a nation of people, Black Americans. Some people do identify as African American who are descendants of chattel slavery. The reason we're trying to have a distinction now is because there are a lot of migrants coming over here to America identifying as Black American and African American. So we have to have some type of ethnic cultural distinction from what's happening, especially when people who are identifying as us, like you guys brought up Kai Sanat, who was basically defending, apologizing to a racist that really had said some things about his mom for the Breakfast Club defending him. So we can't even defend you guys sometimes. Like even when you guys face racism and bigotry and we try to step up to be the bigger person and be your voice and use our platform, we get backlash for that. So, us as Black Americans, we have been experiencing a lot of anti-Blackness from the Mexican community, Asians, Middle Easterns, African immigrants. South Africa went on an entire diatribe campaign just, about a year ago, because of the Zulu parade and unleashed an entire racist tirade on Black Americans advocating for us to be slain in the streets by police officers, talking about George Floyd, dressing up as slaves. So it has gotten to a point to where we have to protect our culture, we have to protect our mental health, and we have to delineate from this mindset that's coming over to our country that is so foreign and toxic to our heritage. We have to really address the elephant in the room. I don't really think we talk about this a lot. We don't really talk about why do these migrants come to America and treat Black Americans the way that they do. They don't go to Asia and treat East Indians this way, or Chinese people in China, or Japanese people in Japan, or they definitely don't go to Russia and treat Russians like this in their country. So why is it specifically Black Americans are treated with such disrespect from a lot of people that share our skin color that come over here? It's because these immigrants that come over here from Mexico and Africa, South America, in their eyes, we're not supported by our government. In their eyes, we do not have the protection of the American government. They know our history. They know how America has, I don't want to say abandoned us, but abused us economically, politically. And they use that to their advantage to come over here and really bash us and try to, overstep their boundaries because they feel as if there will be no backlash from it. And we are aware of that. And so because of that, we have to take control of that narrative. And I hate to say it, but there has to be a backlash. There has to be consequences for you guys coming over here and constantly abusing the Black American community, whether that's we delineate and we boycott financially so that it doesn't get to another level. And the FBA movement is growing. Like, it's definitely growing. Like I said, we are a nation of people within America. It's definitely growing. Some of your favorite celebrities and athletes are FBA. They just don't publicize it. But we're not a small little group that you guys may think we are. And this is only the beginning of the movement. So just keep that in mind as well. Like, just be careful what y'all saying to us. And, if you want to gain an understanding of why this is happening, what it is, then ask questions. But it's growing. This is only the beginning. It's only been a few months now, and I already can tell these lives are getting a lot more people in them. I'm seeing a lot more Black Americans identifying with FBA, repping the heritage flag. But yeah, that's why we're delineating. We have to differentiate ourselves from the people that don't speak our language, don't share our culture, our values. They don't respect our history or want to learn our history. And
Thank you. I'm gonna have to cycle certain people out just because I want to make sure I keep. I mean, y'all can come back, but I want to make sure I keep give everybody a chance to speak. Let's get to Blue. Blue, you got it.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Oh yeah, y'all tap the screen.
Blue.
Everybody tap the screen.
Hey,
How you
hey,
doing, Blue?
BX. Hey, BX. Blessing. I just want to say what they experience from us. We're just doing checking, correction, and regulating. That's all we're doing. We have to do that because the disrespect is too loud. Y'all wasn't even on our radar, but y'all made it. Y'all wanted to center yourselves in it and be used as a shield for white supremacy. So we have to check y'all. Y'all wanted to be used as a buffer class. So it's disappointing when you have people that have same complexion that tries to undermine you, and they do it in a diabolical way, and it's so egregious and so disrespectful that we have to sit up there and check y'all. Y'all been saying for years that y'all not us.
Y'all been telling us for a very long time we're not the same. And now that we're getting back the same energy, it's a problem. But y'all were the first ones to do that to us. And we're just saying, you know what? You're right. We're not y'all. Don't get mad at us when we're not identifying with y'all anymore. Because we identified with y'all for a very long time. And we let a lot of things slide with y'all because we seen y'all as our people. And now that we are no longer doing that, y'all are mad at us. And now we're xenophobic. Like this is
Hmm.
not xenophobic. We just checking, correcting, and regulating. And y'all gotta get with the program. And I land there.
Yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate you. Okay. I want people to know. I even know I appreciate your takes. I do got to cycle people out because we're not gonna have no 3 hour thing today. So I got to make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. I want to hear as many people as I can before we get out of here. So thank you, bro.
I'm gonna drop
Hold
in
on.
peace and reparation.
Peace, sister. Thank you.
Reparations,
All
Blue.
right. Let's get
And check
to.
your Twitter inbox.
Let's
Check your
get.
Twitter inbox, Blue. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Ec- no, you're fine. Echo. Yeah, echo. I'm gonna put you down.
I appreciate you allowing me up. Peace to everybody on the panel. So
Peace.
I'm gonna try to make this as quick as possible. Mainly, I believe a lot of, and I'm not just talking about Africans. This is really for every immigrant. I don't think you really know our culture. I don't think you really know what Black excellence is or what it really entails. Like, I don't think people really understand how beneficial the culture is to the world. However, the disrespect is real. Being called a Yankee, I mean, there is no negative language that I've, been around the East Coast. I've never been across our people and we had some sort of language that was negative for the immigrant. Most immigrants act like American black people because of the fact that you were welcomed into the neighborhood. We took you in as family. But I get told things like, if I was here as long as you've been here, I would have had so much more. Or, oh, we outdo you guys when it comes to education or whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, none of these opportunities would have been available to you had it not been for my people's sacrifice. So if I was in anybody else's country, I'm going to have respect for the natives simply because that's the way you treat people in their home. But here we don't have the respect. And mainly it's because you don't really know us. Like when you go to the north, all jokes aside, people in the north make me upset because I grew up in the South and I have to hear Mexicans use the N word. I have to listen to people who I know don't look nothing like me, but because they live in my neighborhood and they've been around my children, they use this word so freely among themselves. And it's disrespectful because you don't understand what all comes behind the culture of why we've taken that for ourselves and use it only among ourselves. I wouldn't use a word, and we still don't today, any of your words that you perpetrate each other with. Like, even with women, let's say women are allowed to call each other these, right? Men will never think that it's okay or respectful to call a woman a B. Point blank, period. But this is what you guys do to us when you use those words or when you say things of this nature. And trust and believe me, I take my sacrifice of my people who actually shed what they shed. Like, do you know how much hair it takes to fill a couch? Do you know how it is to see your people on postcards and know for a fact that that actually happened to a child? A child was in fear while a reptile was chasing it for bait. That is completely just it almost brings tears to my eyes. But I'm gonna land my plane right there because there's a lot to say,
Mhm.
but I don't want anybody to feel disrespected. But I'm just telling you guys, you really have to stop disrespecting us because we would not do it to you. And
Hmm.
that goes for every last continent that comes here, not just one specific continent. All of you guys do it.
That's very true. This is not particular. This goes for everybody. Listen, if and let me give you this example. If your grandparents gave you a business, or if your grandparents gave it to your parents and then they gave it to you, and now you inherit a restaurant, and you were able to take that restaurant that you and parents gave it to your parents and then they gave it to you, and now you inherit a restaurant, and you were able to take that restaurant that you inherited, able to make it bigger and expand it and maybe make another store or whatever, you wouldn't look at your parents and say, hey, I did more than what you guys did, or your grandparents, I did better than you. You wouldn't be able to do that because you didn't have to start from scratch like they did. They didn't have it, and then they had to make it and bring it there. All right, they had to give you the opportunity for you to do good. So when our people have sacrificed to give them the opportunity for them to do good, they come over here and say, we're doing better than you. No, you're not. First off, statistically you're actually not, but that's just disrespectful, a disrespectful way of thinking anyway, because the opportunity would never have existed for you to do well at all had it not been for our sacrifice. I'm talking about just building the country, fighting for the rights for you all to come over here. None of this stuff would have been available to you. The opportunity, you would have never seen it if it wasn't for us. All right. So the disrespect of you all coming in and saying we do better is, at first, is completely wrong, and it's flat out disrespectful, and we can't tolerate that anymore. All right, let's get to Reggie boy.
Hello there. First, I would like to say you guys don't deserve reparation. Number two, you said it's not statistically proven.
Hold on, where are your
According to
people from? Where are your
CDC,
people from?
I'm from
I'm
Africa.
gonna
That's
listen.
all
I'm
I
gonna
want to
listen to what
say.
you have to say. But where are your people from?
Africa,
What part of Africa? Africa,
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Okay.
So number
What
one,
state do you live in now? Just the state.
oh, right now I'm on holiday, but Texas.
Okay, Texas. Okay. All right. You
So number one, oh, can I continue now?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so number one, you guys don't deserve reparations. Number two, you said Africans are not doing any better than African Americans according to statistics. But if you look at CDC, Africans are doing way better than African Americans. Number three, I don't know why you guys are slandering Candace Owens and Kai Cenat and Neon's past. But if you look at that guy, whatever his name was, he cheated on his girlfriend or wife. But you guys don't want to bring that up. You don't want to mention it when he was hating on Post Malone. You guys don't want to mention that. What this
I
shows is
don't
that
even
you
know what
guys
you're
are
talking
bigots.
about. And that's a very weird accent.
What
To be
this
honest, for
shows is
somebody
that you
who's from
guys are
Texas.
bigots. All right. Oh, let me finish at least. Don't disrupt. Thank you. So what this shows is that you guys are bigots. I'm pretty sure the NSA is probably watching this. I'm sure they're laughing this off. I'm pretty sure they will classify you guys in about 2 years' time as
Where were you
radicals.
raised? Where were you raised with that
So
accent?
don't
It sounds
interrupt. Thank you.
he
That
Don't
sounds
sounded a lot
interrupt.
like
Australian,
British.
mate.
It
Where were you
sounded
raised?
British.
Don't interrupt.
That's a
You
weird
see,
accent
this is
for
the
somebody from
this is the bigotry. Look at
Ethiopians.
that.
Don't have
Look at that. They
accents.
can't handle the truth.
They
They
kind
just want to disrupt.
okay.
You see,
As far as
this
trolling
shows
and stuff like that,
they
yeah, he
hate on
sounds
their
no. Is
own
that
people.
British
They
or
Ask
something
hate
like
on
you.
that?
Kai
What type
Cenat.
of weird accent is that?
Can
They
I'm
we
hate
gonna
move
on.
ask you
on?
to
Because
kind of
he's so
land your
As the
forward.
thing
plane.
as the
Rigor,
thing goes
one
on.
moment, Saray.
Oh, would you look at that?
I'm
Oh,
gonna
look at
ask
this.
you,
Look
Rigor
at this. Look.
boy.
What?
I'm gonna ask you to kind of land your plane because you're going celebrity topics when we know
Silent,
about
please.
that, okay?
Remain silent.
So
It's my
please
turn to
get
speak.
ready to
Remain
land your
silent.
plane. 30 seconds.
Remain
30
silent.
seconds.
Shush.
I ain't your
No, no,
woman.
no, no, no,
I'm
no. You
foundational
remain
Black
silent.
American, and we're
Stay in your
different.
place.
You can get rid of
No,
him.
no.
It's it is. Do you see we're having a
I
productive
don't think. I think
conversation
he was
and
kind of
nobody's being disrespected,
cosplaying
and yet he's just kind of
about
coming
where
up
he
here just
wasn't.
trolling,
So
wasting time.
yeah.
That's just he is a basic troll. First off, if he is Ethiopian, that accent ain't Ethiopian. And that accent
Brother,
ain't Texas. It's not a Texas accent, nor is it an
I'm
Ethiopian
African,
accent.
and
So
he's talking shit. Sorry to say that.
yeah, like, and he just came up here. Just yeah, I guess he thinks he's gonna
I'm
trigger us,
African, and I'm
but hold on. I think he thought he was gonna
Zulu.
trigger
I
us,
don't
but it didn't. It didn't.
like what that man said. I don't think he's African as well. Like, I don't think. First and foremost,
Okay, well, may I
Hold
say
on,
something,
everybody,
guys?
hold on. Okay, let's ease up. I will get to what's your name at the bottom?
say that as an African, he doesn't speak for me.
Okay, what is your opinion on the prompt?
Okay, so there, I just wanted to ask questions because, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I just arrived in America, and as we probably know, there's not a lot of immigration from South Africans to the United States. There's about 3,000 I know of. Like, we're all in one WhatsApp group, coming in and out from time to time. Are you still there? Because it looks me okay. All right. So I think here's my observation and what I do know. Okay, having that kind of having grown up in the motherland, right? I think what is happening is a friction of immigration, and that kind of debate that I'm seeing in the United States. Strangely enough, it's almost happening in South Africa as well, right? Where South Africans feel that they are taking on a burden of the entire African continent, and they feel that they are being replaced. Basically, I don't want to use those words, but it's the common feeling. If you were to go to South Africa, you will hear words, these kind of words, and I think you guys have picked it up too. That some other Africans are not welcome in other states and all that stuff. I understand that. I totally understand that. As someone who was born in apartheid South Africa segregation, I understand that. But I also feel it's the way we address things that sometimes has unintended consequences. I, for one, I don't know what is going on, and I'm really curious. I've been seeing this pop up on my TikTok. I was like, wait, I'm in New York State. Is there boycotts on African stuff? What's going on? So I'm really curious. But at the same time, I started picking up that there's a word for Africans now, which is tether or something like that. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. When did we get there? Because seems to be a miscommunication or misunderstanding, if I'm being mild, between black people, motherland, immigrants, or whatever. But, like, is there a situation where blacks come up with slur words or xenophobic or even racist words against other black people? So that was my, like, little moment over there. But I do understand that at the same time, that doesn't come out of nowhere. There are things that I've seen from our African brothers, and I'm like, even if you are
What happened?
this is my identity. This is my identity, and this is a line I'm drawing. You're still my brother. I still love you, but this is a line I'm drawing. This is what I'm hearing, right? And I totally get. But it is also the way in which things are said. And what I worry about the most, this is what I worry about, and I'll tell you this as
I was about to ask what the question is because
yes,
it's been a.
Right.
You gotta get
Because
to
I
it.
want to
oh,
address the
okay,
tether comment. I
yes,
think that, and I don't want you to hit on too many, like stray too much away from the tether word. Go ahead,
yes,
sir.
okay. So that was the one.
I don't want you to hit on too many, like stray too much away from the tether word. Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
okay. So that was the one. Two, ending. This is going to be a question, and I need maybe guys to clarify because I've seen also there's been an apprehension on speaking on reparations. Like I said earlier on, what that guy was here, and I don't think he's even Ethiopian. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But I think African Americans are due their own reparations for slavery, for building a country, for the indignities that they suffered, segregation, Jim Crow, and all of that stuff that is due to them. That is their country. That's what they built. But at the same time, there's a debate that I'm picking up that the African Union has different regions, has over the years, which is something created by not just Africans themselves, but the whole pan-Africanist movement started in the United States in the 20s. Like if you remember Nelson Mandela, there was Nelson Mandela in the ANC and all those people. The ANC was formed after a black South African, John Dube, went to the United States and met Marcus Garvey, went back, created a political organization which ended up freeing South Africa.
Okay, we're
So
gonna
there
have to
was
get to
always
the
an
land.
understanding that
Get to the
black Americans have their own
Kind
issues.
of land.
Because
Yes,
that
I'm
now
trying
we're
to.
going on.
Let me. Yes, I know, sir. But there was always simply put, there was an understanding, and I believe this personally as well. There was an understanding that reparations for slavery speaks to the transatlantic slave trade. But do you guys accept that there is also communication or an intention by Africans for reparations for colonialism? And how is this now a clash or a misunderstanding? That's all I wanted to.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
sorry,
Dr.
English is
Questions,
not
Effect.
my
and we
first
will
language.
respond to it. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Can I go first, Afro?
Go ahead, BX. You got it.
Okay, so tether is an action, right? And so we understand that not all immigrants are tethers, but all tethers are immigrants. And this is what we mean. So there are some beautiful immigrants who come here. They don't cause much problems. They don't get in our government and vote no to things like reparations. And this is what we're finding with like the Africans in the Caribbeans. They're in our government and they say things like, well, if I get in office, I'll take away Black History Month. Or why do you even have Juneteenth anyway? And then some are actually voting no on if we need a study, just a study for reparations and how it impacted certain areas. So that's just a little bulk of it. But you got to understand, when people migrate here, they're pushed into our areas, right? And even 1% of Black immigrants can shift the natural dynamics already of our community. And it also signifies to white people that that area is prime for gentrification. So here's our thing. I can't go to Ghana and get in their government and vote no to something that could repair the indigenous Ghanaian population there. I think that when people started migrating here, because we were so open, that they felt like they were migrating into our ethnic group and stuff. And for a long time, the pan-Africanism, it goes through different stages, right? So now it's like Pan-African that we knew, the one that you know, which is Nelson Mandela and or everybody who was rooting for South Africa to end apartheid, those people don't exist no more. You get it? The Pan-Africans that we see are kind of in line with, decisions that go against foundational Black Americans, such as the AU. Like, why would you put us on the AU to be a sixth region? Sorry, we are American. We don't want you over our businesses, over anything that has to do with us. So the issue becomes, what are our cultural boundaries? What are we willing to accept? And we got to understand that has to do with us. So the issue becomes, what are our cultural boundaries? What are we willing to accept? And we got to understand that 43 million people is not going to be able to please us all. One African Union, when they told us they're not going to put us down with anything when they go for the Brits, because they just went there in April, right, with CARICOM to ask for reparations, we weren't on the bill. So conveniently, they know that we're different, and when they're going for things specifically for them, they leave us off. And so we want them to leave us off of the AU too. So tether is an action where you undermine foundational Black Americans and tether yourself on. Like now, Africans are saying the first hip hop or rap music came from South Africa. You have to understand, when I was growing up, they were telling me that my ancestors could have been unalive, tongues cut out, with soul on their backs, if they even uttered anything African, anything cultural. So we basically built our culture from the ground up. You don't get to come back 500 years later after y'all got into bed with the Europeans and traded our ancestors. Thank God they survived. So we are a new people. We do admit to having, well, some of us do admit to having some African roots, but we also have European, indigenous, and I personally have some Southeast Asian in there. I don't even know how that got in there, but it did. You know what I'm saying? That makes me me. So I'm North American with some African ancestry, but I'm not going to give them my whole culture. And for that, they need to understand that, right? Because Yoruba is different than Fulani. They know that, right? And there's a whole bunch of tribal conflict over there because their differences, or maybe land, I don't know. But this is the thing, they're being disrespectful to us when we champion them the most. As far as reparations, no. Africa better hope we don't come after them for reparations, for slavery. Colonialization, they have to handle that. But don't look to Black Americans when it comes to slavery and our reparations, what you fight the government for should never include us unless you're talking about how much you're going to cut the check. Because the door no return is slavery and our reparations. What you fight the government for should never include us unless you're talking about how much you're going to cut the check. Because the door no return is still up. The Forgetful Tree Museum is still up. And whatever other remnants over there in Africa that they're making money for. And from what I hear, going back to Ghana doesn't mean that I'm going to own the land. How do you ask the kidnapped to pay to come home, sir? We've coddled Africa for too long. So I can have a good relationship with you, but can you respect my cultural boundaries and my ancestry enough not to call us slave babies? Not to get my government say I don't need reparations? Do you know how many race unalivings we have when they ran up in our communities, when they fed our babies to alligators? And this is what I want to say to the person that brought it up, that they should learn our history. They know it. And you know what they do sometimes on these panels? Not all. They tell us that's why your children was fed to alligators. These are the people we dealing with, and this is why we have to set some straightening. And the most nonviolent, effective way for a foundational Black American to get some act right from everybody is to boycott them, sir. So I'm sorry if y'all are catching strays, but y'all go and catch them because there's not too many of y'all speaking against what your people are doing and more speaking against us, calling us hateful and divisive, but we ain't denying nobody education. We ain't siphoned those resources. We didn't take any, we ain't tell them they can't have reparations. We ain't tell them nothing. You can't have fair and equal housing. Like we don't even tell them you can't have your businesses, even though I seen mines go down because of unfair rent hikes. And then they turn around and tell me, and the same place they got their businesses to fix my community. But your business is in there. Why you ain't helping us? The same way my celebrities go over there and build wells, waters, and schools and stuff. So that's where we at with it. Where's the reciprocation? I land.
All right, I feel like that answered your question, right? So
Yeah, I did. I understand it. There's really, and I don't want to assume, my friend. I just wanted to understand from one brother and sister to another, and I was just worried because we're in the motherland right now. The issue of Black unity is really, especially in Southern Africa, picking up, whereby even the people are threatening to be like to the government, you are too soft on the white powers. You are really too soft. But I'm seeing this now. We are fighting against each other. But I want to first, and to just as a parting shot, I will be forever, ever grateful to the African American people for the sacrifices they did for us. From 1972 to 1986.
Hold on, because we got to get other people to speak. So,
Yeah,
thank you. And I hope the thing with South Africa, I really do. We hope we rooting for them. I am. We rooting for them. We hope they get all that colonization and stuff like that. We hope they get rid of that. We are rooting for them. Don't get us twisted. Don't get us wrong. We ain't never lost the plot now. But the thing is that as far as disrespect here, with the sacrifices that we have done, our people, our ancestors that we have done here, and the opportunities that we have created for other people here, we're not tolerating the disrespect. So that's that. But thank you. We're gonna have to move on now.
may I say something, if you don't mind, sir?
Yeah, where are your people from?
I am from Africa.
Okay.
I'm born in Africa, raised in France. I live in the United States for 12 years now. So I wanna personally, honestly, I'm actually shocked because I feel like I'm living in a dream world. I don't know what kind of planet I'm on, but I'm literally finding out about a lot of things. And I promise you guys, I'm not coming here to cap or trying to tell you guys any kind of story, right? First of all, I'm gonna tell you guys, a lot of you guys don't know that. A lot of Africans don't even know the story about a lot of Black Americans. The same way a lot of Black Americans don't even know the story about Africans, and you guys, both sides are assuming what's going on. Both sides be fitting by whatever the people that brought you here just be telling you guys the story, and you'll believe it more than what we telling you. But that's not even the subject, right?
Okay.
But I want to speak for myself personally. I was raised I'm born in Africa, and I didn't know. The only thing that was telling us about slavery in the school was, there was like a trade between Africa that was taking gold, and there was like a triangle, commerce triangle. That's the only thing that's mentioned in the book, in Africa by slavery, right? When I came to France, that's when I found out my first movie was Roots. I locked myself in a room and I cried for days. God is my witness. I cried for days because I didn't know shit about nothing. And I found out what's going on and what's been happening. And I love the Black American culture, how that Black Americans like made themselves, how they was able to resist and still be number one and most of everything. You got LeBron James, all these people, like all the big like stars in the whole wide world. The Black American, I was proud, honestly. So I'm living in that word and I'm coming here and I work with, because in my head I'm thinking, I swear to God, I'm thinking y'all are my brothers and sisters, because I never make a difference for me, because that's the word I'm living in. My mom never teach me anything to hate or anything like that, any color to begin with. So I'm coming here and working in some and sorry, I'm gonna try to make it short. Working in some job area, and then people tell me, "Oh, you African, you think you're better than us?" And I'm, what the hell? Where did that come from? And somebody tell me that for the first time. And I'm going home and I'm talking to my people. I'm like, is that like? And one of my first boyfriend was Black American, so I didn't have no problem. Then I'm hearing African calling a Black American a certain name. Then I'm hearing Black American. Then I'm confused. I'm like, oh, that's what's really be going on. So it's like there's some African like me that don't know nothing. That literally don't know what's going on. And I just one day I was at work and I have a Black American just insult me. Oh, you black African, go back to your country. What are you doing here? And I was shocked. I went to my car and I cried. And I was like, I thought those people are my people from the bottom of my heart. So don't put everybody in the same box. There's people like us that's literally look at you guys like heroes. That look at you guys like y'all made it, y'all opened doors for us here. Because if y'all didn't suffer, I won't be here today. That's fact. If y'all didn't suffer, I won't be here today. So please don't mix everybody. There's people that don't have education. There's people that don't know shit about what's going on.
Okay,
And
yeah. And let me respond to what you're saying, though. Let me respond to what you're saying.
yeah.
First
So
off, to address the problem.
shit about what's going on.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's
And let me respond to what you're saying, though. Let me respond to what you're saying.
yeah.
First
So
off, to address the problem, we have to analyze it honestly. And honestly, it's not ignorance, really, to be honest. No,
it's a lot of it.
nor, hold on now, nor is it ignorance both ways, because you're saying that we don't know a lot about Africa and we believe everything that the YT man tells us about Africa. That's never been true. We've always actually fought against the American image of Africa for a better image of Africa, because the YT man has always put anti-African propaganda out there, and we've always actually pushed back against that. We've known about Africa, and we know about it. That's why there was boycotts and us fighting on behalf of South Africans with when they were going through the apartheid. Okay, even in Ethiopia, you had Black Americans going to Ethiopia to help Africa. All right. So there's always been that way, where there's been a connection towards Africa and a respect and a defense that we have for the continent of Africa. So it's not like we don't know nothing and we believe the bad documentaries and stuff like that. That's not really the case. All right. As far as the slave trade, let's say they didn't know, the amount of disrespect that they have for us is a little bit too particular for our ethnic group, for them not to know, for it to be completely based off of ignorance. And I'm not saying all, and hopefully not you, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying the ones that do have it particularly and pretty much exclusively for us as Black Americans. They don't have this issue with the Caribbeans or even other Africans. They don't have this issue, that type of disrespect for anybody else. They have it very particularly with us. So it can't be based out of ignorance, because they would have it with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So the thing is that, like you're saying, our sacrifices have given you guys opportunities. It's not like y'all, and no disrespect at all, but it's not like anybody else is sacrificing for us to get any opportunities. When you look at the scoreboard, the people who have made the most sacrifices has been us. And the people whose sacrifices created opportunities has been our sacrifices. All right. That's either true or it's not true. And then we have people coming over and they'll say, hey, we go to school. Why can't y'all? We got money. Why can't y'all get money? All right. So we have to analyze the situation honestly in order to get to the problem, to get to the root of the problem and solve the problem. All right. And the thing is that now you, let's say, and if you were disrespected, that shouldn't have happened. But let's say you might have felt the, I guess, shrapnel because you might have been working in a place where a lot of Africans are disrespecting Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot, especially, I don't know if you work in the medical field, but it's a lot of that going on in the medical field.
I like once again. Sorry to cut
How do I know you work in the medical field, or
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay, fine.
No, I
But
don't.
it happens there. That's what I'm saying. It happens a lot there. All right.
Once again, I have never experienced. I'm the type of person. For me, and if I wish I still got my Facebook page, for me, whenever we get stopped, no, whenever they see me, I don't want to say whoever or whatever, but whenever they see me, they don't see me as African. Before I open my mouth, you know what? No matter where I go in the whole wide world, I went. First case of somebody gets
I'm
kept.
sorry. There are people asking that the panel be opened up, and there's 3 in the queue there. There's
Okay,
3 in the
ma'am. So
queue.
I'll just cut it short. But all I'm saying is not everybody. Please don't put everybody on that box. And once again, there are people, your people, that fought for everybody to be united.
Okay.
They killed themselves for everybody to be united, and it's very sad. No, sorry, sir, I'm gonna land on that. It's very sad that today our concern is to be divided. I get it. That I understand how y'all feel, but that's not the situation, and that's not that actually what they want us to do, and that's what you guys are doing, and it's not good. We should sit down. African people should sit down and stop treating you guys the way they're treating you guys,
Yeah.
and you guys too should stop the way you guys are treating us. Both ways need to sit
No,
down and
no, no,
acknowledge that and
ma'am.
Hold
No,
stop.
on.
Yes,
ma'am. No,
sir.
Hold
ma'am.
on.
No, ma'am.
Hold
Yes,
on.
No,
sir.
ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Hold
No,
on,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir.
hold on,
It is.
Okay.
ma'am,
No,
hold on.
ma'am.
When you say the way that we are treating y'all, are we voting for y'all to not have reparations? Did we go to CARICOM and disrupt your meetings? Like, what did we do to y'all? If you're crying over something that happened to people in elementary school, there's therapy, right? But
No,
as
what I mean by
adults,
that is I got insulted on my job in front of people, and that thing stayed in my mind forever. I didn't do nothing to that
Okay. Let's
person,
say that's true,
okay,
ma'am. Let's say that's
and
true.
it's true.
Let
I'm still
Okay.
speaking
I'm
the
1 minute,
saying for
fact.
the
ma'am,
sake of
1
the
minute.
argument, and see,
He's gonna talk to
this is
you.
why. Let me say, this is why we cannot solve this problem. Is because you all will come in and you all will say, "Well, I see us all as one big family, and we're all in this together." And we're doing bad, but you guys are doing bad
Sir,
too.
what
And we all need
I
to hold
said
on,
both
ma'am, and we
sides.
all need to
Nobody want to
stop
take
doing it.
accountability.
No,
Both sides have
no,
things
no,
to
no. It's
yes.
not no, no,
The
ma'am.
same way
Stop
Africans
it.
have to fix things, y'all
No,
gotta fix things too.
ma'am.
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
now you got to stop. Okay, because
Need
you're
to
over
fix the
talking, and this is
attitude.
something that we have.
If she acts like this, I'm sorry, Afro. If she acts like this at her job, I could see, and we don't even know if it's true, and we don't even know if the person was Black American or just a Black person that looks like a Black American and uses our vernacular, because there's a lot of that going on
Mhm.
too.
But
So here's the thing: it's not both sides; it's a reaction. It's a reaction.
what's the thing in the whole you being assaulted or whatever? Let's say that, and I even was going to give her. Let's say that is true or whatever the case is. That doesn't represent the whole group or whatnot. Nor does that represent how we feel. We're not having an anecdotal conversation about our experience. We're having a conversation about the cultures and what we're dealing with as a culture and as an ethnic group. When you all come in and you guys say, "Well, both of us, there's wrong on both sides," that doesn't solve the issue because you're trying to make a false equivalent to something that you claim happened to you at work, and then you're going to say that that's the same thing as our lineage being disrespected by people that you say are seeking refuge from their homeland. You admit that they're seeking refuge from their homeland based off of the opportunities of these people. So it's by definition is not going to be 50-50. And you all try to come in and try to make this a 50-50 back and forth, and it's not that way. The problem starts from the diaspora. That's where the problem starts. And if you guys can't be accountable for that, we're not going to solve it. We're not going to allow you guys to sit up there and downplay. You guys can't be accountable for that, we're not going to solve it. We're not going to allow you guys to sit up there and downplay what you guys have or embellish the quote unquote disrespect you guys feel in response. We're not going to do that. It's not been no 50-50 nothing. Like I had to say, we have not been ignorant to Africa. We have not been ignorant to its plight, and we have been fighting back against the struggles that Africans have been facing. Okay? We've been fighting alongside Africa for the longest time. So we're not going to sit up there and play, oh, there's issues on both sides, because that's not true. That's dishonest. All right? So, and you were trolling in the chat room. You came up on a different type of energy, but I did see you in the chat room a minute ago saying stuff. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's get to Jimothy B1.
Tory. No, he came out after Tory.
Tory got it.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. So I've been listening, watching the comments, and I won't speak on some of the things other people have said because I'm going to be honest. I don't follow the whole Kai Cenat. That's not something that appeals to me, though I have been listening to the feedback. However, one thing that I'm starting to notice just from the comments and from some of the people that came up.
Yeah, ethnic group first. Can we have
So
your ethnic group first?
I'm African American, foundational Black. I'm African American. I'm Black. I don't have to. So I think one of the problems, at least again from my perspective, is that so often people forget that because Black people, African Americans that were here prior to immigration, there was already a standard of disrespect from non-Black European groups. My own grandfather talked about the first time he got called the N-word from an Italian immigrant in the groups. My own grandfather talked about the first time he got called the N-word from an Italian immigrant in the 1940s English. He talked about those things. So the precedent was already set. They understand that part of capitalism is to maintain an underclass, and they understand that that underclass is synonymous with the Black identity. So that was already precedent. The problem is it appears that a lot of the people that are coming on the panel who are from an African country don't seem to understand how much of that has been adopted by other people who are immigrants, but that are from, whether it's an African country or a country in the Caribbean. I want to at least acknowledge that that is something that we can't ignore, because while we're accused of xenophobia, that doesn't change the precedent and the reality that they're more likely to have businesses in our neighborhoods. Now, I'm not saying that no one else has made this point. I just haven't heard it since I've been listening. In my opinion, part of the issue, I'm from Brooklyn. I understand that New York City is not like all of the country, but specifically in New York City, you will see a lot of immigrant, not just immigrant, businesses in Black and African American neighborhoods. And a lot of that tension started there, when you're more likely to get a business simply for going to a Black neighborhood. But then when you look at the data that's there, that's true whether it's Chicago, it's true for Los Angeles. It's not just like New York is an isolated incident. I'm not going to sit here and speak for a group of people that I don't belong to. However, the breakdown of communication is coming from somewhere. And I'm trying to understand that if African Americans are not the ones who are using our vote to weaponize to harm any other specific group of people, and that is true, I'm not hearing feedback, at least from the people that have come up to disagree, that they've acknowledged that. We are not, as a voting bloc, trying to oppress them. The way the Korean immigrants did, for those that are old enough to remember, during the LA riots. Korean business owners are part of the reason that harsher penalties came as far as during the riots from LA. Even though they were an immigrant voting bloc, they united. And of course, they unalived a member of our community and was never held accountable for that. So there's a history here that has nothing to do even with anyone from an African country, but it doesn't appear that they're willing to acknowledge that they do partake in this. Because one thing I see, just that I see, is that as people attain a higher level of education, they tend to be surrounded by more whitey people. And unfortunately, there appears to be a problem with non-African American Black people who attain that status and then espouse problematic issues. People like Candace Owens is a prime example of someone who is not from our community, but allowed herself to be a voice for YT supremacist propaganda. And to be clear, this is not me bandwagoning. I have disliked Candace Owens since she had dry edges and was filming videos in her bathroom when she decided to take what happened to Trayvon Martin to make a name for herself. That was over a decade ago. We can't ignore that either. I personally am not into labeling anyone anything. I understand the definition that was given by the sister up top about what a tether is. I'm choosing to not refer to anybody as, I have one word for all people: enemy. If you are against the liberation and prosperity of Black people, you are my enemy. I don't need any additional words. That's me personally. But I still think the focus, and this is me, needs to be on what we're going to do moving forward. Because while we're having this conversation, what is our government doing? For those that don't know, because I just found out yesterday, they are trying to amend the penal part of the Immigration and Naturalization Act. So while FBA helped to get that passed, they are now trying to get this at a 10 to 15 year penalty, minimum, not concurrent time. This is not something that's going to affect us. The majority of us are not immigrants. However, this is something that is happening because of the breakdown in communication. I just feel that it's unfortunate that we now have the government that we have. We need all the allies we can get. At the same time, it does not appear that there are people who are willing to be honest. I haven't heard anyone come up here and be honest that they do participate in anti-Black American sentiment. Candace Owens is just one example. So again, that's just me. We have bigger fish to fry, right? We have bigger fish to fry because they're now trying to come after other issues that will affect us, including birthright citizenship. That's something that will affect us because that came out of the end of chattel slavery. So for me personally, it would be nice. It would be nice if there could be more civil dialogue, because either they're up here trolling or they're not being honest that this isn't something that we imagined. I have my own experiences with immigrant Black people, but I'm not going to censure that because, again, we're supposed to be adults having a conversation. I just don't understand why it does not seem that there can be fair communication. There is an obvious breakdown. There is obvious weaponization about those who achieve higher social class against those who haven't. In the end, we still have to do what we need to do for us. And the biggest threat to our community right now is a reversal of birthright citizenship. That's me personally. And that has nothing to do with whoever else immigrates here. They have their own problems. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. All right.
Bro,
Yeah. Let me say this. First off, as far as labeling is very important. That's how progression is done. You have to label things. There now you can say people are problematic, but categorization is important. You have to categorize people who are problematic, because people can be problematic from different areas for different agendas and all of this stuff. Okay, if people are immigrating into the country and they're problematic, then you give them a certain label. You know what I'm saying? If they're committing certain crimes or doing certain actions against the group, they have to be categorized differently than someone who's domestically doing that. Because we got people who are turncoats and sellouts and stuff like that, but we categorize them, but they have to be labeled. All right, because we got to understand where they're coming from and then how to respond to them. The reason why calling a tether is important is because that strips them away from their ability to speak on our lineage totally. Okay, so when Myron Gaines comes up on a platform and he's all like, well, I'm black and I say we got low IQs, then we'll be all like, oh yeah, but you're not from here. So what you're saying here doesn't count because you're a tether. So it doesn't count. It strips him away from that, the power to speak on our lineage. So by labeling them and categorizing them accurately is very important. All right. Which is why they have a issue with it. Okay. You're right. They have not been honest. Most of them have come up and they've acted as if they're confused. They've acted as if they don't know what we're talking about. And yeah, when we tell them, it's always another question and then another question, another thing. So they're not being honest. All right. Most of them are not. The thing is that as far as immigration issues are concerned, we are not immigrants. My lineage started here. Okay. It was the genesis of this country. All right. So we are not immigrants. So as far as immigration issues are concerned, that's really not our concern. And as a matter of fact, what we have noticed, we've kind of did the data and ran the numbers. And what we've noticed is that a lot of immigrants are problematic. Not all, but a lot of immigrants, and then just immigration in general into our communities, it turns out to be a net negative. It's not a positive. All right. For many, not all, but many of them to just flood into our neighborhoods, it's not a positive. Just the same way they're protesting in Mexico about immigration, in the same way they're protesting in South Africa about immigration, because they realize that a flood of immigrants is problematic to the natives that live there. So in Mexico, they're protesting because they don't want no more immigration. And in South Africa, they're protesting because they don't want immigration. I think in Ghana, they're doing the same thing. So everybody understands this. All right. Because it's the truth wherever you go. Okay. A flood of immigrants going there is problematic. So it's not something that we should be fighting because it is to our detriment. All right. Another thing you said, the thing about birthright citizenship. I think that a lot of that is a little bit of misinformation, because the thing is that there has been a loophole in the birthright citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment that has allowed people to have anchor babies here. Birthright citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment. If they stay here for 1 year, they'll get pregnant as soon as they can, have a baby on this land, and then they use that baby as an anchor to return to the land. All right. And that's been going on for generations. And Trump has acknowledged it. Obama has acknowledged it. They've all acknowledged it. I mean, this has been going on before I was born. It's been a problem. And it's not just Hispanics that do it. Asians do it. A lot of immigrants do it, so they can anchor themselves in this country. So there does need to be rectifying of that issue. That issue does need to be rectified. All right. So a lot of people are saying the 14th Amendment is ending, or birthright citizenship is ending. That's not as accurate as the situation really is, because it's not ending. It's just there's being an amendment to it. All right. That's going to plug that hole so people can't come and have anchor babies, because we can't go anywhere else in the world and have an anchor baby. Okay. You can't go anywhere else in the world and then just give birth in that country. And then next thing you know, that automatically makes that baby a citizen. It doesn't work that way anywhere else. All right. And it shouldn't work that way here, because that's problematic as well too. So as a matter of fact, that's something that actually has been needing to be fixed for a very long time.
To do that if they're not going to pass legislation to protect us. Because again, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments came out of the oppression specifically of our ancestors. The birthright citizen, right? This isn't, and to be clear, the 14th Amendment does not apply to any indigenous person on a reservation. We're not, they're not part of this. I'm talking about the wording of the amendment itself. Because at this point, right, once upon a time, people thought it was a joke that Donald Trump was even running for president, right? Once upon a time. It's not a joke anymore. It's happened now twice. I'm looking at how the law itself was written. And when it comes to establishing citizenship in regards to the black people who were freed from chattel slavery, it was not specific. The only way to stop those who are coming here undocumented to have children is to clearly delineate us from them. Please provide a name of a politician wanting to do that, because there does not appear that they are intending to do that. Also, Clarence Thomas wants the Supreme Court to adjust the 1965 Voting Rights Act clause that spoke to the gerrymandering and redistricting clause to protect black people from voting. They are also attacking us. And I'm unwilling to say, well, let's see what would happen without exclusively and specifically protecting us from everyone else. Why should we not be concerned?
I'm
The
not
language
saying,
is,
first off, I'm not a Trump supporter. Let me be very clear with that.
nor am I.
I'm not a
Nor
Republican.
am
Let me
I.
be very clear with that. And we can't do two things at one time. This is also a big issue. Well, what we're dealing with and talking about right now is also a big issue. I'm not saying we should ignore politics. I'm going to be talking about that actually later on tonight on YouTube, okay? On Afro Elite. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe. But I'm saying, like, we can talk about this and talk about tethers who are problematic as well too. All right, because you got a lot of tethers in politics who are supporting a lot of these things that would be harmful to the group. But to be honest with you, when you look at the executive order about the 14th Amendment, it's just saying that if your mother and father are not legal citizens in the country, that you are not an automatic citizen. That's what the executive order is. All right. That doesn't affect us because our parents are citizens, because their parents, their parents, their parents, their parents. We are not immigrants. So the executive order is literally not going to apply to us. How it is right now, it literally will not apply to us because we are not immigrants. It applies to people who come from another nation and have a baby here. All right, so that's problematic. Now, am I co-signing everything the Trump administration is doing? Absolutely not. Nor am I going to sit up there and say that the Biden administration was any better at all. No, and we need to pay attention to that. But we also have this issue. And this issue is problematic to the group here. All right. So, all right then. All right then. So now we can move on. Now we can move on.
After I just had a thought. Could it be that people who didn't do their genealogy or who did their genealogy and didn't necessarily see a formerly enslaved person are nervous that they wouldn't be covered under the 14th Amendment because it is for the children of slaves, for the formerly enslaved. So I'm wondering why would a black American, and this ain't specific to you, Tori, but a lot of people who say they are of the lineage, they use that, the 14th Amendment, and then it could turn on us. It's been tried before, and we're still here. We're still standing.
That's not
So,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can be that they might fear, or it could be just them being like an activist for the Democratic Party, and that's really their biggest talking point to get us mobilized and get us back on board with the Democrats. Because what the
Right.
Democrats are doing is they're trying to fearmonger us back into supporting them instead of actually drafting legislation that supports us specifically. So it's kind of like that. Yep. Let's get to Jimothy B81. Jimothy 81. And we are gonna have to start wrapping things up soon. So, Jimothy, are
Timothy,
you
are
with
you
us?
there? I'm wondering if Zizi has anything to say, if she has the time to speak to us about everything that she's heard thus far, if she's been able to hear. Okay, she's at work.
Okay, yeah. Now, so let's get to Saray. Saray. So let's
Thank
get to
Hold
you.
up, was y'all talking about me?
yes.
You able to listen? Did you have any insight?
I caught the I just caught a little bit of what you just said and a little bit of Afro talking about us not being deported or something like that. Was you talking? I think that was a response though to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really catch the whole thing, but we can't be deported. No, we are legal citizens. That birthright citizenship is not something that's going to affect us. We are legal citizens. We're the true citizens of this land. So yeah, we're not going nowhere.
Yep, that's true. All right, so let's get to Saray. She ran to the phone, didn't she?
How y'all doing? I mine is just real sweet and simple. Uh, Tethering, to attach someone or something to something else by or as if means of a line or cord. That is light work to try to turn this word tether as if it's a slur. That's considering how diabolical our mouths are. That's
Go ahead,
light
go ahead.
work. You understand? So, I mean, this whole tether and the booty scratcher thing, like BX said, there's therapy. You understand? So, I mean, this whole tether and the booty scratcher thing, like BX said, there's therapy. The other girl said something, there's HR. That has nothing to do with what we got going on right now. And the amount of names from every demographic that we're being called, again, tether is light work. Nobody's scared about the 14th Amendment and what they got going on. We ain't going nowhere. A lot of us is doing our genealogy, especially me, and I'm already back to 1860s. So who going somewhere? Not me. So the fear mongering and stuff, it's not happening. And I agree with you, host, as far as until the Democrats, which I don't like either wing because it's the same freaking bird. But if the Democrats really want something, they need to put something on paper and actually put it in full effect. I don't even want to hear promises. I need some ink to paper, notarized. You understand what I'm saying? And again, the troll farms, all the stuff that's going on. I'm happy that we're coming together. I'm happy that we're figuring this out. We don't need to be tribalistic because there are different sectors of us out here, but at the same time, we have the same fight. And when it comes to the African community, you guys are loud and rude and wrong, and you cannot dictate how we respond. This is a response. We ain't start none, but we gonna end it. And it's not what we're going to do, it's what we are doing. I need y'all to fix y'all tongues. We are closing our wallets and our purses. We are investing back into our communities. We are. That's what's happening. We are delineating. And y'all want to kumbaya or y'all catching strays? We catching strays out here too. So, you know what? Deal with it. You can't, this is like an abusive relationship. Like you're just going to keep bopping us around and say, no, stay right here. Don't do nothing back. Are you sick? Is something wrong? We're not doing that. That's a wrap. So whatever they told you when you flew over here, that we're docile and we're lame, we're dumb, and we're this and we're that, they lied to you. And evidently you seeing that it's a bold-faced lie because y'all are getting dragged. And we're going to keep it civil. And we're definitely, please know, the grace is still there. As much as you think we're not being graceful, this is grace just by closing our wallets and our purses. But you keep poking that bear. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm done.
That's true. I wish no harm or bad or ill will or nothing like that on anybody. We don't wish that on no Africans or Caribbeans. We don't wish y'all to be hurt, harmed, or anything negative. But the thing is that, and I'll say this, to piggyback off of what you just said, in order for a group of people to progress, you have to have everybody being on the same accord. But our problem, and this has been a problem since slavery, our problem is that you have a few people who go against the grain. And the problem with that is that it doesn't take much for people who are going against the grain to cause a lot of damage. Okay, it doesn't take a large group of people to cause a lot of damage, okay, and destroy a lot of progress. Those people need to be called out, okay? They need to be addressed and they need to be called out, and that behavior needs to stop. We can't just be turning the other cheek and be all like, well, we don't want to be mean, so let's just let it be. When we have people like Kai Cenat sitting up there defending racist, on top of other problematic behavior that he's done, when you have people like Candace, when you have people like Myron, when you have people like that who go against the grain for the benefit of YT supremacy. All right. So we can't progress if we just ignore that issue. It won't happen. All right.
No, we can't stick our hand in the snake pit to find a good snake. That's just paraphrasing Muhammad Ali. And we only got 4 cheeks, 2 on our face and 2 on our butt, and y'all done kicked them and slapped them. We're done.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I don't know who's next, but I see my girl got a Sayana up here. I just wanted to hear what she had to say while I'm still on the phone. I don't know if she went yet.
No, she didn't go.
Can you let her go next? Let her go next.
What up, CC? What's
Peace,
good?
girl.
Hey, this is actually like my first time on live on TikTok, but I saw what the topic was. I saw Zizi was on here, and I consider myself FBA. I think just by definition, I am foundational Black American. But one thing that always has thrown me off about the FBA community is the way that it always seems to be us against our people on the other side. So if FBA is about nationhood, I feel like a lot of us should just focus on uniting more so than, like talking about, oh, well, our African brothers and sisters act like this, or our Caribbean brothers and sisters act like this, because we have our own people that act a certain way towards us. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, a lot of that is because of colonialism. But like I said, I support FBA. It just always throws me off when I hear these conversations, and it just seems like to be us versus us. Like, yes, we are FBA here and we should reap all the benefits of that. But why do we have to end up going, being at odds, it seems like, with Africans and Caribbeans? If you could just speak on that.
Zizi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I heard that. Yeah, girl, I'm going to just say this. Child, a lot of times when you hear that, there are some spaces where there's, egregious people of every group. So some people just be up here trying to, want some anti-diaspora, whatever the hell, trying to, want some anti-diaspora, whatever the hell, just nonsense. But for the most part, when we have especially lives like this, spaces like this with people like me and Afro, it's really just a response. It's a rebuttal to the propaganda, the hate that we've been getting as a people historically. You know what I'm saying? This is not something, because most of us, you feel me? Most of us are still pro-black, as in the sense of the black as the race. We're still we know that YT supremacy is a team sport, so we still got to play as a team. But we do recognize the anti-blackness or the anti-black Americanness with some of these non-FBAs that come over here and act like that they better, or that they want to align themselves with YT supremacists. And then some of the tethers that act like us, talk like us, and then turn around and, whenever it's beneficial to their specific group, you know what I'm saying? They like to double down on what they are. But then, what I'm saying, act like they don't have any respect for our culture. So it's just calling out the nonsense that we see. But for the most part, we are very much for our people globally, But you got people, you do got people who's the offsets. You got people people that come in here that's just Tariq the sheet haters. They got shit to do with nothing. So you got people who are just going to be talking bullshit for sure. But for the most part, when we get up here and talk about stuff like this, it's a rebuttal, because they be coming out of
that. I feel that, and you need to bring your butt back to Houston for real.
Oh, girl, I'm coming. I do need to come. I'm about to go to Chicago. We're about to do a podcast out in Chicago in a little bit, but I need to I'm making my way out there.
All right, appreciate you, fam.
All right, peace out.
New podcast is coming. She just told you guys. I guess it's not surprised no more. And we got another. Okay, yeah. Okay. But actually, I do need to talk to you about. But we'll talk about that later.
I got you.
But yeah, and you know what I'm saying? And it's not just them, because we were talking not long ago about Mexican OT and how he felt like he could say the N-word, and he was on Angela Yee's podcast, and he was all like, man, who gonna stop me? What the F they gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so that's wild. But you gotta correct it real quick here in Houston. We do not play that, and he be out here up in Houston with this, and I don't know what he thought, what battery pack, but I don't know if you saw, but he had to come correct himself a couple days later and apologize. Yeah, we don't play that in Houston. I don't know what he was on.
Yeah, it's and a lot of, not just Mexican OT, a lot of other Hispanics was all like, hey man, what y'all gonna do about it? What y'all gonna do about it? And this is something they've been saying. They've been saying, I can say the N-word because ain't nobody gonna stop me. Now that we saying, okay, well, now ICE coming and picking y'all up and deporting y'all, and y'all want us to help you when we saying no. Because the thing is that we're not going to have this thing of like be treated as if we owe everybody a debt of service, and it's never reciprocated. The respect, okay, and the camaraderie is never reciprocated, but we owe the Asian community something with the Stop Asian Hate. We owe the Hispanic community something with ICE. We owe the diaspora something, and nobody owes us anything. Yeah, we just not going with that, you know. But I see you on Instagram. I think I gotta check. I think I follow you on Instagram too.
Well, they actually just deleted my page at 62K a few days ago, so I have a
Oh,
new
that's not.
one. It's
Oh,
got it
okay.
Sayana official, but I got 88K on Facebook, so follow me there. All my stuff is still
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
I
Cool.
appreciate you though, brother.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I saw what you that black business thing. What's his name? Wico Wallow. He said something about.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
seeing
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah, I had to get on that.
Yeah, yeah. He need to be checked. But thank you.
Honestly, pushing some anti-FBA propaganda. She checked that shit at the door. We let her see it for sure because he was on bullshit. Yeah.
I'm mispronouncing everybody's names. I said Wico. I don't know what nobody's. I
You
said
gotta work
Wico.
on
I don't
that.
know what nobody's name is. But
You
okay,
be
let's
fucking human names.
Not sounding like an old man today. Huh? Wico. Oh man. All right. But let's continue. Let's get to I don't know how to pronounce your name. Usage? Osage?
Yes, this is Osagi.
Osagi. Okay.
Yeah, good job. You tried. You tried.
I did.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to add a little bit of advice to the group. I've been in the US 18 years, and in 18 years, I've taken my time to understand the struggles of people that look like me, black people, okay? African Americans or Black Americans, as you like to call it. And the more I try to learn about the situation they face, the more I realize there's a pure misconception of what we perceive coming from Africa. I'm from Nigeria, okay? What we perceive versus what the realities are, right? And over the years, I've tried to learn from fellow African Americans that I work with. And oftentimes I find that what I think I know is actually not the reality. So I'm saying this because there are people that walk in here from Africa or other parts of the world who are black, who have the wrong perception because of what they've seen on TV or what someone said to them, and people don't do their research. I find out that people don't do research. They just jump on something and run with it. I'm built different. People don't do their research. I find out that people don't do research. They just jump on something and run with it. I'm built different. And if anyone says, any immigrant black says African Americans don't deserve reparations, it's because they're purely ignorant of the situation in this country. They're very ignorant and they need a re-education. Now, if they cannot be re-educated, then I'm sorry for them. I understand the frustration, I understand the anger, and I listen to everyone speaking. And I want to commend you, Afro Elite, for at least bringing the situation to the table so people feel like they have a voice. So good job on doing this. But I also want to make sure that for you, precisely for you, my brother, I want to make sure that you can focus on the very more serious issues that affect all of us as blacks. Now, the people who maybe some of you have had experiences with who are Africans and they're ignorant, they say crap out of their mouth. Honestly, I wouldn't say don't react because you have every right to react, but don't generalize based on this view for all of us, because there are many of us, I can tell you for a fact, there are many of us who are pro-black, who stand and fight alongside with people like you here in this country. And I say that because I'm a manager at my job. And I felt a sense of obligation to watch out for black people on my job. Not because I want to be partial or give them preferential treatment, but I want to be a voice of reason for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And
Okay.
this is my motivation. My motivation is simple.
But for the sake of time, let me, because I do have another live stream I got to get to on my
Gotcha.
channel, so I'm gonna let you
I'll make
go
it
ahead.
quick. I'll make it
Yeah,
quick.
man.
Thanks for giving me the voice. My motivation is simple. Somebody paved the way for me to be able to come in here legally. I came in here with a green card from day one. And I recognize it, the fight of the walk on the Selma and
Mm-hmm.
all the civil rights movement and CAP and all these people. I recognize it. But I can't speak for everybody else like me from Africa because some of them don't educate themselves. And
Yeah.
I would hate that you good people who have paved the way for people like me get disrespected or devalued. So I understand the frustration, and I just want to make sure you understand that we're not all the same.
Yeah, of course.
Some of us appreciate what you did or what you're doing.
Yeah.
In fact, I can if I have my day, I will tell you many times African Americans have stood up for me in many
Mm-hmm.
jobs I did in Tennessee, in South Carolina,
But
even
yeah,
in
but for the
Delaware.
sake of time, let me address what you've said, right? For the sake of time, right? Because I got a live stream and I don't want to be too late for that. Yeah, I want to thank you for the work that you've done. You're saying you're looking out for black people as a manager. I think that that's great. Looking out for black Americans, as I'm not sure where you work. You don't have to say it, but that's a good thing, and we appreciate that. And we're not saying everybody is like that, but the problem is that it's deeper than just pure ignorance. Because you'll have people like Brian Donalds. Brian Donalds will come up and he'll say, well, I know about reparations, but since I can't get it because I'm an immigrant, I don't want nobody to get it. And and Brian Donalds is not a one-off. You'll have other people from outside of America. You'll have immigrants coming here from outside of America saying, well, I can't get it, so nobody can get it. And they're on that type of page. You know what I'm saying? So coming here from outside of America saying, well, I can't get it, so nobody can get it. And they're on that type of page. You know what I'm saying? So we got to problematic. Even if they're doing it out of ignorance, the damage is still the same.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And the damage is gone on for too long and it has not been addressed. You know what I'm saying? So when Brian Donald says stuff like that, when Myron, when Candace, when Kai Sanat, when all of them, when they say stuff, when Coleman Hughes, when they say stuff like, well, reparations, it shouldn't be a check, it should be putting money into prison reform or stuff like that, and they act like they can speak on our behalf, or they call us lazy and stuff like that. That doesn't get addressed at home. Right. See, the thing is that when it comes to black Americans who shuck and jive, because you have some who shuck and jive, they already understand they can't take that shucking and jive into the community, because they already know that the community is not going to tolerate that behavior. They already know, yeah, when I go home for Thanksgiving, everybody going to be giving me the side eye. They already know that. So they already know they have to distance themselves if they're going to go down that path. Yeah. But for a lot of the immigrant community, they don't feel that pressure, the same pressure that we give our people. They don't feel that from their people. So they get to shuck and jive, and they get to tap dance and go along with Massa and do all of Massa's bidding, and then they get to go home, and nobody in their community is looking at them with the side eye. All right. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this issue.
Right.
Okay. We have this issue because not that all of them are problematic, but the ones who are do a lot of damage, and that it doesn't get addressed. And we can't ignore it, because what we're realizing is that that's hurting the progression of the group. It's not small inconveniences, it's major obstacles that they're causing.
And that's my concern, that I don't want the fights that people have fought and
inconveniences, it's major obstacles that they're causing.
And that's my concern, that I don't want the fights that people have fought and people have died because of a few people that just don't get it.
Mm-hmm,
so not everybody will get it. But I hope black people around the world will unite for real. That's my hope one day. Because my kids will be like you, born here. They've never been to Africa, unfortunately. I should take them home. But I understand that if I don't stand up and fight now, then what future will they have if I don't join the fight? So that's why I'm saying I'm coming in solidarity with FBAs and every African American that has paved the way for people like me. So I want to encourage you guys, don't give up the fight, but don't also, just remember, some of us are for you. Okay, we're not against you. Just remember that.
Okay, and we appreciate that. We do. Thank you.
Absolutely. And
But
thank
just
you
remember,
for having
I
me.
want you to leave with the fact that coming over here is great, but you got to go over there to other Nigerians and have the conversation among other Nigerians,
Oh, you bet I do.
about a lot of the stuff that's said about us from the Nigerian
Oh,
community.
you bet I
Because
do.
that's
Let
where
me
the
give you an
problem is.
example. When I hear a Nigerian use the word akata, and I think you may have heard that word before,
Yeah, I have, yeah.
I get mad. I get mad. Like, what are you doing? Because some of them, honestly, I for one, I'll be honest, I never knew the real meaning until I came to this country. And once I knew the meaning, I desist from it. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is not this is not cool. So
Okay.
I try to educate people around me, my family members, my friends, neighbors that I know use the word, and I get mad at them for doing that because I realize that is putting somebody down that looks just like them.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, I pray for God's wisdom for you. Keep doing what you do. And for everybody else here, I hope you guys have a nice day. Thanks for having me. We're in it together because again, my children and their children are going to face the same battles if I don't fight the war right now.
Yep. And this is all heading to one end goal. End game. This
Absolutely.
is heading to one end game. So thank you.
Absolutely. No
But
problem.
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get to her. You know.
For having me, and I'm just going to make this really quick. I came up here to remind people that Black American culture has affected the world like unlike any other culture, right? And we don't get a lot of respect from people who come over here, which the Civil Rights Act directly affected immigration reform in 65, which prior to that reform, the United States prioritized Europeans or Eurocentric immigrants over melanated people. So when they come over here and they're like, Black Americans are problematic, I wish people would just do the research and understand, like Osagi was saying, we paved the way. We paved the way for you to come over here and go to school and buy houses and build and businesses, just for you to turn around and treat us like we don't belong there. So that's all I had to say. I know you got to get to your podcast.
Yep. It has been a lot of sacrificing. And the thing is that now this what is not us even being offended, rather than we're realizing how problematic this issue is, how detrimental this issue is. It's less us, our feelings are being hurt, so we're responding. We're realizing like, oh no, these people are causing, and I mean the tethers, these people are causing a huge issue. This is not no little thing. You know what I'm saying? They're causing a huge issue. So that's why it needs to get addressed there. It needs to get addressed there. It's not like something that we can solve outside of what we're doing, because we're doing the only thing that we can do. Okay, we're doing the only we can solve outside of what we're doing, because we're doing the only thing that we can do. Okay, we're doing the only logical response. But if they want to solve it, it's in-house. It's an in-house issue. So like he said, when he checks people for saying Akata, that's something that we need to see more of, because we have people who are saying Akata isn't a slur. You will literally have people coming up here saying Akata is not a slur. We don't say that. We love you guys. There's no disrespect. I don't know what you're talking about. And they will gaslight and ignore and belittle all of the things that they've done. So what we need is Africans and Caribbeans to call that out and say, no, we do that. Okay. And we got to get off that. All right. I'm not Caribbean. Okay. I'm not African. All right, I am foundational Black American. So I'm doing what I can do on my end. All right, because we got to keep the boat going. We got to keep going. We can't sit up there and stop because y'all don't want to move. All right. So we're gonna have to keep going. So it is what it is at this point. But for the riders who get it, y'all get it. If you get it, if you're a rider and you get it, okay? And then you don't need to explain it. All right, but you do have a job to do. It's not enough to just understand. You got a job to do. All right, so you got to get on that job. All right, but I think we can kind of wrap up here. So let me see. Yeah, thank you all for joining us. Appreciate you guys. We went three live streams in a row. So I mean, we firing on all cylinders right now. So that's pretty impressive. Y'all make sure y'all follow on For the Culture. Why is there Caribbean hate? There's no Caribbean hate. No, nobody hates the Caribbean. No, there's no Caribbean hate. But the thing is that a lot of y'all Caribbeans come in and y'all be on some BS. Like Kai Sanat. A lot of y'all come in here and y'all be on BS. Like y'all be on some BS. Like Kai Sanat. A lot of y'all come in here and y'all be on BS like Kai Sanat, like Candace Owens, okay, like Brian Donalds. Y'all come in on that. All right, so like Nicki Minaj. All right, so we're not gonna sit up here and be all like, what do we do? Yeah, y'all know what y'all do. Don't play that game. Don't play that. All right.
Well, if you want something more tangible, go read. You probably wouldn't, but Yvette Clarke is of Jamaican descent. So I mean, she's in our government, advocating and supposed to be advocating for us, but conveniently, it's only securing tangible wins for the Caribbean, and only performative for us. So, yeah.
Yep.
So after I gotta ask you, and then Zizi could give her spiel. When are you coming back? And are we putting a pin in it? We don't even have to pin a pin. We could file this. Because I'm convinced
we've
they're
had
playing good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, we've this is a good subject that we will keep up, but we're not going to do this every single time. There's other things that we can kind of discuss. There's other things I'd like to discuss too. So when the next time I'm going to go live? Hold on, almost. Excuse me. Next time, damn. Maybe Friday afternoon. I like the afternoon time a little bit. I'm starting to like that. But yeah, maybe Friday sometime. But I'll let you know. Zizi, do you have any? Can you speak? Are you available?
Yeah, I'm right here. I came in perfect timing. But yeah, final thoughts for sure. FBAs continue to stay on these people's neck because they are going to continue to try to undermine us, unfortunately. But it's a part of the game. And it's a little sad to see, because it is unwarranted. A lot of this is not. I did catch a little bit of, I think he was responding to somebody, and you were saying how it's not a 50-50 thing. It's not. This is not a two-way street. A lot of us are not and don't have reason, don't feel comfortable with just coming out with straight disrespect with for other Black people across the globe. That's not something that's within our culture. We've always been taught to honor Mother Africa and things of that nature. At least for most of us. So that's never really been a part of our culture to talk down on other groups. We've always been welcoming. We've always been taught to fight for our people, for all of our people. So yeah, it has to be recognized that this is really just a one-way street, and this is something that a lot of us who are coming back in response. This is a response. This is a rebuttal. This is what happens. This is a reaction to the initial disrespect. So yeah, we got to fight the propaganda and make it clear on who exactly is who and who is pushing that propaganda, because a lot of them are tethers. We have to be real. A lot of them are tethers. A lot of them are cosplaying to be Black Americans, pretending that they're us. You even had people that come up on here that we didn't have to check. A couple people just on the last 2-3 days that we've been on here that we didn't like, nah, you're not FBA. And they said oh yeah, my parents is, I'm from here. And it's like, so people are very disingenuous in these conversations as well. So we got to be honest, got to be careful and check people's background, check people's paperwork. And yeah, delineation is the goal. That's what we on right now.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And people come in and they act like, and there's some good people, but the thing is that The good people, y'all don't stand out. Y'all don't do enough to stand out. And that's the problem. All right?
Yeah. And how
If
about you
we,
check your own people before you come over here checking us? Like, you
yeah.
worry about what you and your community can do for the quote unquote diaspora world and to stop it rather than what we doing.
Mm-hmm. They coming over here, in no disrespect, but giving us advice and telling us where we need to go and how far we need to take things. But you're not going to go to the people who initiated the issue and tell them to stop. But we got to stand
Right.
down, and I'm not going to let you tell us we need to stand down in response to the disrespect that we've gotten, because you guys will acknowledge, at least a few of you will acknowledge, that you guys are here off of our sacrifice, but you want us to sit up there and stand down and allow your community to run rampant, and that's just not going to happen no more. It's not.
Absolutely. It's not. And it, honestly, rightfully, it should have been happening for a long time. Unfortunately, our parents and grandparents' way of thinking was a little bit different. We respect it. You know, we honor the ancestors. So, you know, we respect the sacrifices. But we definitely got to get more on a ethnically specific path. Like, for sure. We got to fight for our home base first before we can. You know, we playing as a team. White supremacy is a team sport, but we got to get our home base together first, and that's all right, and
Mhm.
it should be respected. If it's not, then we need to call it out for what it is, because all it is anti-blackness
Yeah, it
ultimately.
is. Yep. And like I keep saying, it hurts the progression of the group ultimately. And it's one of the things that's been keeping the group from its success. The success that we could have had, it's been one of the things. It's a weapon used against us that we're dismantling.
Absolutely. And our delineation is our tool to fight back, our weapon to fight back.
Yep, absolutely. So follow me on Afro Lead on YouTube. Follow ZZ on ZZ Rants on YouTube. The links are in our bio. So if you click our link, you go to our bio, you will find it. Click our link, go to our bio, you'll find it. All right. Links are in our bio. So if you click our link, you go to our bio, you will find it. Click our link, go to our bio, you'll find it. All right. If you want to back of this, go to For the Culture on YouTube, okay? And then you can listen to this playback. You can listen to our live podcast, our physical podcast, all of that stuff. And we got a lot of great stuff on that channel, all right? And our own individual channels, all right? So click the link in the bio and you guys will be able to see all of that stuff. But thank you guys for your gifts and your time. BX, can you close us out real quick and we'll call it a day.
Okay. So I loved tonight's live. It wasn't as hectic as the first and even the second one because I was just over it. So I want to say this to the Caribbean. Nobody hates you. We acknowledge the Caribbean who were instrumental in their own right in the civil rights movement. So Farrakhan was mentioned. He is of Trinidadian descent, but he rides for foundational Black Americans. Marcus Garvey was mentioned. He's problematic. He sat in closed meetings with the likes of Walter Plecker, the Triple K, and his bonds were worthless by the time he was arrested and deported. And our greats like Booker T. Washington wasn't kind of feeling him, and there was a whole Go Home Garvey movement. As far as Malcolm X, y'all forget that he has a full FBA father. Yes, his mother was a biracial woman from the island of Grenada. He respected his mom. However, she didn't raise him, right? So when y'all are finding out these people have this other ancestry besides Marcus, you're not understanding how they were raised, why they fight so hard for foundational Black Americans, because that's where and who they resonated with. Did that mean that they turned their back on that parent who may have had Caribbean ties? No, he loved his mom, but unfortunately, she wasn't able to raise him. His full FBA sister did, and when he went to speak to African nations, he spoke on Black Americans, right? So y'all gotta cut it out. It's not an aha moment. I'm sure his mom, who chose to have children and marry an FBA man, understood that culture would probably be the dominant presence in their household, and that's how it is. Okay. So Malcolm is ours. and keep your, and why they never ask if his daughters are, why they never bring up his daughters, like, because she has a full foundational Black American mom, y'all just feel that what, she's not part Caribbean or they're not part Caribbean. Y'all are weird, that's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, but again, another great live. We understand these people, we know, we love, and some of us even sat amongst them and their families, so we know how they identify. Y'all gonna take this L, that's all.
It is what it is. We not
Farrakhan is
stopping
ours
for
Yeah.
too. I just
nobody.
want to put that out there.
You said what?
I
Yes,
said
he's ours,
Farrakhan and Malcolm. Both of them
Farrakhan.
are ours. They tripping.
Yeah. Hi, Buki. Buki, we just ending. I be sending you the Buki is the one who taught me that Malcolm X was raised by his FBA sister because I thought it was his grandma. So she knows a lot about that. And she's coming at the end of the segment.
Yeah.
Aw.
All right, but next time, y'all just make sure y'all follow us so you can join. But thank you
Yep.
all. All
Peace,
right.
love,
One.
light, and reparations, everyone.
Peace.